Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Habs postgame show here on Langer at the Mic live. The Montreal Canadiens, they get a point, but they lose 6-5 in a shootout against the Vancouver Canucks in what was a fun, back and forth, exciting, but also a goofy and dumb hockey game. It's late at night, of course. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I got to be up early tomorrow, and we go at it again tomorrow night. So let's get right into my good and bad habits from this game, the 6-5 shootout loss. And where else to begin other than Tyler Toffoli? You know, it looked like Toffoli was going to have his bad luck continue for him in the first period. He had a nice little weave, nice little take to the net, but he let off a weak shot on Holtby in the first, and he missed another pretty clear wide open chance in the first period. But then in the second, boom, he had time and space. The Canucks completely forgot about him at their blue line, and he just, ripped a quick release, a beautiful wrist shot right past Braden Holtby on the glove side. And that was his first of not one, but not two, but three goals for the hat trick in his return to Vancouver. And honestly, I knew that Tyler Toffoli was due because unlike Michael Ryder, again, those comparisons to Michael Ryder, I haven't seen any tonight, but from the first three games, I don't see it because Tyler Toffoli would be in good position and would possess the puck and would do more good things when he wasn't scoring than Michael Ryder did. And he was always in really good position in the first three games on numerous occasions, like to score goals. And he was just fanning on his shot, or he just wasn't getting the puck luck that he wanted, but it just exploded today, and he got the hat trick. It was a beautiful shot on the first goal, like I said, a really nice finish off a beautiful pass from Nick Suzuki on the second, and a nice smart deflection on the third goal, which was at the time the go-ahead goal, which the Canucks had came back and tied up later, which we'll get into more later. But awesome game from Tyler Toffoli, and especially in his first game back in Vancouver against the Canucks. Next, I'd say Brendan Gallagher, because Brendan Gallagher, this was Brendan Gallagher's best game of the season. He played like the Gallagher that we love, the Gallagher that got him signed for or extended for 6 years, 36 million, whatever it was. He got cross-checked by Tyler Myers in the first period, which, of course, Austin Matthews complaining about it after the first game. And then Joe Thornton, or was it was Jake Muzzin cross-checked the Senator in the Saturday game between the Leafs and the Sens. And then Gallagher takes a cross-check to the back, and obviously no one bats an eye. So, and Weber, not to mention Romanov and Weber, got called for it in last game against Edmonton for cross-checking guys in front. I'm saying either call it or don't call it. I'd say call it, but just be consistent. And Gallagher, throughout his entire career, takes cross-checks to the back, and no one ever bats an eye. But anyway, he didn't care because he had 8 shots on goal in this game. 8 shots on goal. And you could throw in Tatar and Danault in that as well, because their line controlled play whenever they're on the ice. They controlled the play, and Danault had a great stick cutting off a pass on the penalty kill in the first, and Tatar set up Gallagher's goal with a beautiful pass. Gallagher had a really nice finish, and just Gallagher played like the Brendan Gallagher that we're used to seeing in his last 7 years, since 2013 with the Habs. So this was by far Gallagher's best game of the season. And then Jake Evans, of course, man. Jake Evans just, he was blanked on the score sheet, but every time he was on the ice, you noticed when he was on the ice, he played another hell of a game from Jake Evans. Every time that fourth line was on the ice, they were just a complete B-word, pain in the rear end to play against. And honestly, to the point where Claude Julien put his line on the ice after that one of the Canucks goals in the second period. And what did he do? He set up Paul Byron with a beautiful pass on a 2-on-1, and Byron just rang it right off the post. And Evans is relentless on the forecheck, and like I said, just noticeable every time he was on the ice. I'll be honest, I don't know what his faceoffs were tonight, but if he can be consistently good in the faceoff circle again, he will be an extremely, extremely valuable member of the Canadiens' bottom six. And he brings it every single night, which is awesome to see. And of course, Nick Suzuki, man, continue the point streak. That's 4 goals, or 1 goal, 3 assists through 4 games. And that was just, I call that a ninja pass to Tyler Toffoli on his second goal. And also he fed Petrie early in the third period with a wide open pass. Suzuki, yeah, 1 goal, four assists. 1 goal, 4 assists, I believe. 5 points through 4 games. But anyway, so you've had 1 goal, 3 assists. Now, anyway, he sets up play after play after play. Like I said, the Toffoli goal, the Petrie play early in the third period where he just sprung Petrie loose on a breakaway. It just Petrie didn't receive the pass well enough, and it went over his stick and into the corner. And then he had like really nice dangles, like just he completely skated circles or deked out a Canucks defender to set up Jonathan Drouin for a nice chance in the third period, and that led to sustained pressure in the third and on that shift. And then, of course, he scored the tying goal in the shootout. So Nick Suzuki continues to press with every single game. Yeah, just excuse my memory. Just at 1:30 in the morning, cut me some slack here. But anyway, carry on. Next. This one, I wasn't sure if I was going to put him as a good habit or a bad habit. But you know what? I decided to put Jesperi Kotkaniemi as a good habit because whenever his line of Toffoli and Armia, of course, Toffoli got the hat trick, but whenever they're on the ice, they control the play. They continue to control the play. And in the first period, though, Kotkaniemi had trouble getting the puck to the net. He was doing that delayed toe drag thing when he was in the slot, and it led to it was a good scoring chance, but he had to wait for the puck to settle down perfectly on his stick, and the shot got blocked. He also then complained to the ref, he took an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which led to the Brock Besser goal. And he got mugged in the third period to no penalty, of course. So to this point, I found Kotkaniemi was having a rough game, even though, again, they're sustaining pressure that line. And he did have an assist on the Toffoli goal. But then, you know what? Kotkaniemi learned his lesson. Whether the puck is clean on your blade or not, if you're in the slot, you shoot the darn puck on net right away. And he did. And that's how he scored his first goal of the season. And also, just not to mention, again, the assist on the Toffoli goal and great passing. There was a play in the second period where he fired like a pass, like tape to tape, like at least like a 40-foot pass right to Shea Weber. He was down, Kotkaniemi was down low. Weber was streaking in at the point. Just a beautiful tape to tape pass that set up a scoring chance for Shea Weber. So that was really nice by Kotkaniemi. And honestly, again, rough start for him. Rough. Let's say 2/3, but you know what? He made up for it in the third period. He made up for it by setting up Toffoli on his first goal with a really nice pass as well. And this will be the first night of bad habits because, like, the reffing, and where else do I start but the discipline or the lack of discipline by the Montreal Canadiens. And let's be real, the officiating in that game was a complete joke from the refs to the linesmen. The linesmen called multiple icings that should have been waved off. But again, I'm not here to say that the Canadiens lost this game because of the refs. I'm here to say that when you take 6 minor penalties, to the other team's 1 minor penalty, that's on you. That's on you. That's your lack of discipline right there. I don't care how bad the refs were. When you take 6 penalties to the other team's 1, that's on you. Like unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, Josh Anderson delay of game penalty, putting the puck over the glass for a third straight game in a row. The Canadiens take a puck over glass penalty. Even after the play, like Anderson pushing Quinn Hughes into the net. Okay, Quinn Hughes is like half the size of Josh Anderson, and he went down into the net kind of easily. But still, it's after the play. Like, that's just lack of discipline right there. And that's really, like, when you take 6, the Canadiens are taking literally 6 to 7 minor penalties a game at this rate right now. And that is not going to win you many games. And the fact that they are making these games close and, winning these games, well, not tonight, but winning 2 out of these 4 games and getting points in each of these 4 games is like shows you how good they can be if they don't take stupid penalties. And while the penalty kill got the job done against McDavid and Draisaitl last game, tonight it wasn't good. 3 for 6, man. The Canucks were 3 for 6. Those were the 3 first goals the Canucks scored on the power play. So essentially, if you take 2 less penalties, you win. Because the Canucks, by that, like, again, 2 for 4 is not good on the PK by any means, but you also scored 5 goals. So you give up 1 less goal, then you win. Math, right? Anyway, yeah, so just lack of discipline, the penalty kill, just not it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like, the Canucks got their power play going, and to be, credit the Canucks for, they have a lot of talent on that side as well, between Besser, Horvat, Pedersen, Quinn Hughes. So they're not, and they were just like, that was just probably just a bad streak to start the season on the power play for the Canucks. But still, just 3 for 6 on the PK is not good. And that has to be better. And the Canadiens have to stay out of the box. And now, here's the other bad habit I have here. And I hate to say this because I, for one, am not a Carey Price hater. If anything, I can say that Carey Price has been my favorite goaltender ever since the Canadiens traded Cristobal Huet. I still have today. I wore my Carey Price t-shirt from 2007. I still wear it, and I wore it today. But to be fair to Carey Price, he was not good tonight. He was average at best. He made some nice saves in the first, sure. And he stopped Pedersen on that when he got loose and made that beautiful between the legs shot, and he was, stood his ground, made a really nice save, and even there was like that exchange. Like, I don't know if he gave him a look and Pedersen gave him a look back, whatever that was. Okay. But I didn't like the goals he gave up tonight. Like, you want your franchise goaltender, supposedly best goalie in the world, to make those saves, man. Like, look, let's go through them one by one. The Bo Horvat goal. Okay, it's not. It was a nice puck movement on the Canucks power play, and Byron was late covering Bo Horvat on that goal, but it snuck right underneath his arm. So okay, like, it happens sometimes, but okay, whatever. Snuck underneath his arm, but you still should have that. The second goal, Tyler Mott. Now, that should not have been a 2-on-1. You should never. When you give up a 2-on-1, that's on the 5 guys on the ice because someone's not doing their job back checking. But and in this case, it was Petrie took a really just bad miss wide on I think it was Holtby's blocker side, and it rang all the way around, and that's what set up the Canucks 2-on-1. And but to me, like, if you give up a goal 5-hole on a 2-on-1, the what's it called? The defenseman covers the pass, the goalie cover the shot, and if you get beat 5-hole, not a great look. Not a great look when you get beat 5-hole. Third goal, Brock Besser. I'd say, like, of the first 3 goals, this was a little more forgivable, but he just looked kind of off on that goal. Like, he was just kind of scrambling, a little bit out of position. He reacted to one play, and he gave up space to the low blocker side, which allowed Brock Besser to put it on the low blocker side. Again, this is on the power play. So, again, not ideal. And then the 4th and 5th goals, to me, are more forgivable because the 4th one was a really nice tic-tac-toe play for Miller to Besser to Bo Horvat, and Bo Horvat had a really nice finish on Price's blocker side. I'd forgive him for that. 5th goal was the second Besser goal through a screen. Price didn't see anything, and it was right after the Canadiens took the lead off Toffoli's deflection goal. So again, I would forgive him on that one. But still, overall, that's 3 unideal goals that your number one goaltender gave up. And the shootout, by the way, is kind of a crapshoot because Price, goalies can win, can play well and be the reason why you win in a shootout and be the reason why you lose in a shootout. I wouldn't say Price was either in this one because 2 for 4 is not great, but not like 3 for 4 or 2 for 3. So, but overall, Carey Price just needs to be better than he was tonight, and I'm confident that he will be. We know he will be, or we know he can be, and he will be. But I just honestly this doesn't have to do with anything within the game, but honestly, I feel like whenever he's in his white setup, I find he's more consistent in his white setup than his red setup. Just a thought. Again, it has nothing to do with the game, has nothing to do with anything, or it has no impact on really how he plays, really. And you can maybe argue that his white pads are an illusion and make the shooters think that there's less space than there is open. But anyway, I think Price, for whatever reason, plays more consistently in his white setup. But whatever, I'm not going to waste too much time talking about that. And I'm going to end this video with some more good habits, some final positive thoughts, because this was an exciting game. As much of a crapshoot and whatever, like, goofy hockey game that it was, the Canadiens still did a lot of really good things in this one. And I want to mention Alexander Romanov because he had to learn some lessons in this one. He had to learn when to pinch and when not to pinch. But you know what? He played over 16 minutes. He was +3. He had 4 shots on goal from the back end. He had 4 hits, and he was an absolute horse in overtime. That shift that he had in overtime, he was all over the place. So again, just continues to play really strong, and that's really awesome to see Romanov continue to play well. Face-offs faceoffs. Interestingly enough, the Canadiens were beating the faceoff circle through the first 3 games, but in this one, they beat the Canucks in the faceoff circle to the tune of 53.6% in favor of the Canadiens. So that was that's a good sign, and hopefully, there'll be a little bit more balance in the faceoff circle instead of getting beat like 57% almost every night. And of course, the power play got another goal. You got another power play goal after, let's not forget how bad the Canadiens power play has been these last 3-4 years. And now they've scored a power play goal in every single game to start the 2021 season. And another thing, balanced scoring. You got the first line scoring with the Gallagher goal, another goal from the first line. Tatar had the goal, was it last game or the game before, whatever. So you got the goal from the first line, you got the hat trick from the Kotkaniemi line, or the hat trick by Toffoli on the Kotkaniemi line, and of course Kotkaniemi scored. And then you got the power play goal set up by the Nick Suzuki, beautiful pass. So again, balanced scoring is how the Canadiens are going to win games, and especially with the way they built their lineup. So, and you saw it tonight. And then of course, last but not least, character, fight, grit, never giving up, being tough to play against. The Canadiens went down 4 times and they tied it up 4 times. And then they took the lead, even though they gave it up. And then they were all over the Vancouver Canucks in overtime, and they would have won in overtime had it not been for Braden Holtby making some really big saves. And then even in the shootout, they went down in the shootout, and Nick Suzuki had to score, and he scored to keep the shootout going. Of course, I think it was Brock Besser. Yeah, Brock Besser scored the second Canucks shootout goal. But still, like, the Canadiens, they've showed that, no matter what, they will not give up. Just stay out of the god-darn penalty box. Just stay out of the darn penalty box, and the Canadiens will be fine. And honestly, look, the Canucks, credit to them too, because I think the Canucks are still a top 3 team in this Scotiabank North Division, despite their record to start the season. They played with a lot more juice, a lot more fight than the Leafs and Oilers did by far in this game. Like, they're well balanced. They attack and defend all as a team. I think Braden Holtby, despite the 5 goals against, played a pretty good game, and again, especially in that overtime. And like I said, that's why I actually picked the Canucks to win the Canadian North Division. And yeah, just tonight you saw why, because even though it was a back and forth game, their talent prevailed and they made enough plays to essentially win. And yeah, it was a stupidly fun hockey game, but guess what? On to tomorrow night, and it's 1:49 in the morning, and I have, again, an early start tomorrow and an early start on Friday, and I'm going to be up doing this late again tomorrow night after the Canadiens play the Canucks for the second time. And thank you so much for joining this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, this Habs post-game show. As usual, subscribe to my channel, give me a big thumbs up on this video, and thank you for watching this Habs post-game show, and I look forward to seeing you again next time, which will be tomorrow night. Go Habs, go.